Breaking news continues out of the NFL today. That man right there, well, he's got a new head coaching job again. This time heading a little bit south to be the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Pete Carroll spent 14 seasons as a head coach of the Seahawks, winning Super Bowl 48, stepped down at the end of last season, served as a supervisor to the team. Raiders, here be the thing about the Vegas Raiders, still looking for the long-term answers for a head coach. They have now gone through 5 head coaches, and that is just since the 2020 season, the latest being Antonio Pierce, who was fired in January after spending just 1 season at the helm there. Let's welcome in 2 of our favorites here, Logan Ryan, Bryant McFadden. Both of you have played against Pete Carroll during your time in the NFL. Logan, I'm going to start with you because you told me during the break you absolutely love this for the Raiders. Why is that?
Yeah, I absolutely love this move for the Raiders. I played against Pete Carroll for a lot of years in a Super Bowl, actually. And anybody who's ever played for the Seahawks or played for Pete Carroll, they've never said a bad thing about the guy. Tons of energy, regardless of the age. He brings the juice every day. He is all about competition. He is a culture builder of optimism, and he gets the best out of his players. I always say, for the show, I always say that great coaches get the best out of their players. He's a defensive head coach. We know what Legion of Boom was for all those years. He got the best out of all those DBs, all those defenders, but he got the best out of Russell Wilson as well. Got the best out of Marshawn Lynch. Dealt with different personalities, related to the players. He was successful in college, successful in the NFL, has been doing it a long time. I'm tired of the head coaching hires be whatever quarterback played well this year, let's hire his offensive coordinator, and that'll be our coach, even though he was never head coach before. I like that the Raiders got a guy who's done it before. He was successful, won Super Bowls in the NFL. He won in college. He gets the best out of his players, and that's what the Raiders need. They need to build something new, build excitement there in Vegas. And Pete Carroll, in my opinion, competing against them, he's the man for the job.
Yeah, Logan, I love it as well. I love it as well. You talked about what he brings to the table in terms of the energy, just the knowledge. Another thing that he brings to the table that I think will be impactful with him being the head coach for the Raiders is respect. Respect is very, very important when you're a leader. When you're trying to lead grown men in the locker room day in and day out, they have to respect your ability to know that you will put them in positions to be successful and to win ball games. His track record proves that. You talk about being the head coach for the Seattle Seahawks 14 years. He had winning seasons in 11 of the 14 years, not to mention the overall playoff success, and of course winning the championship. And another thing that he brings to the table that's very, very needed, much needed for the Raiders, the ability to identify talent. You look at the teams that he was able to be a part of in terms of building, drafting Russell Wilson, signing Marshawn Lynch. You look at Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Bobby Wagner, so many high-level players that they drafted, identified, and was able to develop there in Seattle that led to an outstanding coaching career while he was there for the Seahawks. Those are things that the Raiders have been missing. Those are the things that they need heavily in trying to change the course of their program moving forward. So I love this move. Another thing, too, as a fan of the sport, Amanda Logan, think about the division. In the AFC West, you have Andy Reid, Coach Harbaugh, Sean Payton, and now Pete Carroll. All 4 coaches have won a championship. Granted, Coach Harbaugh won on the collegiate side of things, but just the resume and just the respect these coaches have based on what they've done, this will be a great division to watch when you look at the star power at the head coaching spots and with those said teams.
Just watching those guys coach against one another twice a season is going to be incredible. Hey, B-Mac, let me ask you this from a former player's perspective. Obviously, you get drafted. You want to play anywhere. But there are some teams that are preferred over others, and you talked about Pete Carroll's winning record there in Seattle. The Raiders have won 2 seasons in the past 20 years. They've had a couple 500 seasons, but winning seasons has only been 2. Having Pete Carroll there, having a guy like Tom Brady dealing with the front office, bringing over John Spytek as their GM, how much more attractive has this team become from a player's perspective just in the past handful of months?
Very, very attractive. Number one, when it comes to the finances, there's no state taxes in Nevada. That's a big time plus. So now you look at the financial side of things, because what most fans don't realize, you get taxed in the state you play in every state you travel to. So regardless of where you go, you will get taxed that said state in terms of their numbers. But when your home games, you don't have any state taxes. That's a big time plus, because now you get a chance to earn more money than losing money based on having your home games played in a non-tax-free state. Secondly, just the resume and the respect. that Pete Carroll has, not to mention Tom Brady, because we know he has some dealings in terms of what type of moves they make and moving forward. So this is a very, very attractive destination, I think, now when you look at some of the other vacancies out there. If I was a former player, just knowing that Pete Carroll is now the head guy in charge with the Raiders, that's a big time plus. I talked about no state taxes. And the last thing, final piece, I would say, Amanda, in making this spot more attractive, identifying who your quarterback is going to be. That's the next best step, because if you're a veteran and you want to win, you want to go to a spot where you have a quarterback that you believe can get you to the promised land and, most importantly, be competitive.
Final question here.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Logan.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say I agree, because I'm looking at this from a player from a free agency standpoint. I've been a free agent a few times, and I'm going to look at who is the head coach? What is the plan here? Has this guy won before? Has he got guys Pro Bowls? Has he gotten guys championships? Like, I want to win championships first and foremost, and Pete Carroll will do that. It goes to B-Mac's point. We got to find a quarterback. Who's the quarterback going to be? Is it a young quarterback? Well, I trust Tom Brady and Pete Carroll are going to identify a good one. That's what Tom Brady's part of the ownership group for. He's going to find a good quarterback, whether that's a young one in the draft or do something free agency. I got to trust that the people making the football decisions have played football and understand football at the highest level, which they seem like they have. B-Mac mentioned the taxes. That is a big thing we don't talk about. Taxes are major for all of us in this country. So taxes, warm weather, and you know that Vegas has a great fan base. Those Raiders fans, they travel. They love it there. And you know they have some of the newest, brightest facilities and toys. They're trying to bring football to Vegas. I would want to be a part of that if I was a free agent. If I have this ownership group in place, I have the new head coach in Pete Carroll, someone who's respected, Tom Brady making some decisions. I think if I'm a free agent, this is a place I would look to go to.
And amazing facilities. And look, Vegas is a lot of fun. We all know that. We spent a lot of time there at the Super Bowl last year. Logan, last question here. Let me ask you this. And B-Mac mentioned one of the top things they need to do is find a quarterback. So let's get Tom Brady, John Spytak, now Pete Carroll, other ownership in a room. The first steps these guys are taking this week.
I mean, they're identifying who's going to be available. Absolutely. You're making calls. Is J.J. McCarthy available? Are these young quarterbacks maybe want to trade for, like a J.J. McCarthy? I think it starts there. What are the Vikings doing, right? Are they going to go with Sam Darnold, or are they going to go with J.J. McCarthy? So all these things might not be figured out a little bit to the NFL Combine time. It might be a little bit of a lull here. Some of these will be whispers and conversations, but they got to figure out if we can draft a good one, right? What would that take to get a Cam Ward or Shador? Is that what we like? A Jackson Dart or a J.J. McCarthy? I think you look at the youth quarterbacks first, because if you can hit on one of those, then you have the space to bring the veteran players in around them. I don't know about the free agency market. I don't know who's going to be out there, Aaron Rodgers and all this stuff. I don't really know who's going to be available from a free agency quarterback market. Doesn't seem like the best class. I will go try to find a young one. I think that starts with J.J. McCarthy and Shador and Cam Ward with these draft picks and what that would take to move up. So I would try to identify a young quarterback to build this thing around.
A lot of decisions there in Vegas now, but at least they got things going on, which is more to say than a couple teams still out there looking for a new head coach. Logan, B-Mac, we appreciate it. Enjoy the games coming up this weekend. Actually, you guys hang on. We don't want to be done with you yet. We want to talk more football with you guys, getting ready for Conference Championship weekend. Longest active droughts without a playoff win. The Raiders sitting now with 22, their last playoff win coming into the year 2002, which is longer than some of their players have been alive.
True.
After the break, we're looking at the AFC Championship matchup, another high-stakes game between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Mahomes going for Super Bowl ring number 4. Josh Allen trying to get past that AFC title game.